Being a landlord is dangerous. I love it. I love it. I love it. Not the danger, but I love being a landlord. I think it's the most satisfying profession that I've ever had, is being a landlord. But it's dangerous. It's not without its problems. It's dangerous because, let me tell you a story. Some of you have probably seen my video on one of my Section 8 tenants. And I'm not saying Section 8 is the reason. I'm not downing Section 8 people, so don't see it that way. But I just happen to have a tenant that was on Section 8 that wasn't following through with her commitments on the agreement that we had with Section 8. So when I moved to evict her, she began to just harass me, call me nonstop, threatening me, saying that I would never make it to the summer. This was the winter, maybe of 2017, I think. And she told me I would never make it to next summer if I followed through with that eviction. And she told me she had some goons that knew where I lived. I was going to come home and find them waiting for me. I was going to be abducted. Kid you not, this is what she did. So yes, being a landlord could be dangerous. So I would say any landlord should protect themselves. Security, I have ADT. I'm not crazy about their service, but I have them. If you can get a license to carry, do it the right way. I would say if you can get a license to carry, do it the right way and get your license, because it's dangerous. That's why I don't deal with cash. I don't do any cash pickup. All my tenants know they pay through apps. They pay through Venmo. They pay through Cashapp. They pay through Zelle. I take all my payments through apps. And it also gives me, gives them a receipt. It gives me a receipt. We have a digital receipt. That's our proof. It's dangerous. Also, sometimes tenants proposition you. So first, let me address how to handle a tenant like that. Is don't engage. I just blocked her on all social media. Of course, I called the police and made a record. They don't do anything, not unless the person takes action. But you want to make that record, make that report in case something happens to you. So I had to do it in 2 counties. I had to do one in because I'm an out of town landlord. I had to do one in the state where the tenant resided, and then one in the county where I lived at the time. Then you have tenants that proposition you. How do you deal with that? Proposition you, meaning you may have some tenants who will try to slowly seduce you. And to me, the worst thing you could be is I would call it a loser landlord, like a real dirty landlord that would do that. And I've heard stories of landlords that do that in exchange for rent, but I would never. I think that's the worst thing you can do, because now you've just totally blurred the relationship between you and the tenant. You've now eliminated your chances of having any legal recourse, because once that comes out in the court that you slept with the tenant, you're having a relationship now, it can get thrown out, because now this is a personal dispute between you and the tenant. The court's not going to sort out. They're not going to want to sort that out once they know that you're romantically involved. And also, just as your own, from a moral standpoint, I just don't think it's a good thing. But yeah, I've had a tenant I've had some tenants who've done that. When I had my Airbnb space in Brooklyn, New York, I had someone who rented it, and because I would not give her more time, her time was up. When she had to leave for the next person, she started screaming that I took advantage of her, that I sexually harassed her. I mean, she was saying all this stuff. Lucky for me, I thought was quick on my feet. I said, that's good. I said, well, let's go to the cameras over there. I said, that there are cameras here. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, we have cameras here installed. And then she backed down. But then she started emailing me the same thing. And I said, well, listen, let's move to the next level with this, right? Let's move to the next level with this. I will get the camera footage, right? And let's call the police and let's file a report. Never heard from her again. And it's unfortunate you have people that do stuff like that. You have some that will tell you, call you late at night and say, listen, you call me anytime, whatever, come over. For some of the guy tenants, one of the biggest thing is physical threats, from guy tenants. What guy tenants tend to do, they say more than women tenants, is destroy property. They say usually, most likely, men pay their rent on time and in full, but are more likely to damage your property. So which one do you choose? I try not to get caught up in renting by gender, but as a landlord, sometimes, unfortunately, we do practice discrimination, whether we know that or not. We do. When we look at tenants, we look at I look at their Facebook. I look at how they behave on social media. I want to know how this person is because I'm out of town, because I only get to go to the property maybe, not very often. And I do have a property manager, but no one's going to take care of your property the way you do. So I would say, in all those cases, arm yourself. Have your paperwork solid. Get you a good property manager. Once again, if you could get a license to carry, do that. Get a good alarm system. Put a camera in front of the house to watch your property. Make things clear from day one what kind of landlord you are. Meaning that if you're a no-nonsense landlord, if you don't want the lines to blur, if you know this, you get the hunch that this tenant's going to start playing games with you, from day one, you got to let it be clear. You are not here to play games. I'm here to rent to you, and that's it. Until they've proven otherwise. For instance, I have one tenant who's one of my favorite tenants. I mean, she goes out of her way she practically remodeled her apartment out of her own pocket. Just totally, she wanted to move in quickly, so she didn't want me to take the time to clean the place and repaint. She said she'll do that herself, and the place looks like a different place. That's the ideal tenant. Now, that kind of tenant would be one that sometime if they are late, you just totally don't charge them a late fee. You kind of be lenient, but even with that, be careful, because if word gets out to the other tenants, they're going to expect the same thing, and rightfully so. They can expect the same thing from you. So, I'm not going to ramble on too much, but I hope you like this video. Share, subscribe, and follow. Once again, my information is at the bottom. If you'd like to talk for one of my coaching sessions, if you want to sign up for one of my real estate classes on how to invest, how to become a landlord, how to become an out-of-town landlord. We deal with property management, how to find properties, affordable properties within 3 hours from where you live. Just do what you're supposed to. The link is below. Bye.